You are?
John Zant.
And what's going on here today?
I guess fallout from the firings of 6 Santa Barbara News Press reporters, including me, that occurred on Monday and Tuesday, because we were all doing what we believe was a legal protest in a labor dispute. It was on the basis of loyalty, the alleged basis of our lack of loyalty to the paper, but in my view, we are all very loyal journalists, loyal to our jobs, because we all were working hard at the same time. We've, in our own time, doing some demonstrations about what's happening with the regime that's running our paper.
What type of writing did you do? Sports?
Yes, I'm a sports writer. I've been working for this newspaper. It's my only job out of college for 38 years. I've been through a couple ownership changes, and I've seen it all, but this is all new to me. In fact, the New York Times bought our paper in 1985, and we had a employees association then, which was a union, and the Times actually lobbied against it, and we voted to decertify the union. So it's not like we're all a bunch of union types, especially me personally, and but we all saw fit to unionize when there was this terrible meltdown last July, and when most of our senior editors either were fired or resigned, and it's been a difficult time for our newspaper ever since.
What are you going to do now?
I'm starting to explore a few options because of my time in this town. I know a lot of people, but I can't say anything right now about what I might do or go. There is an NLRB actions that are pending that may eventually restore the jobs that were terminated, but it's a bureaucratic thing, so it's not going to be in the short term. Right now I'm trying to adjust to the shock of losing a job. It happens to a lot of people, though. I had a very grounding phone call from a guy we called Bernie, Don Bernstein. He said, "Don't expect any sympathy from me." He's back in New York. He said, "I've been fired. Everybody's been fired. What's the big deal?" He said, thanks. He said, "Lick your wounds for 15 seconds, get over it for a month, and then move on with your life." So that's pretty good advice.
So you still have a month?
Yeah, it's probably I guess from experience, I guess he knows that's the grieving period before you got to get your stuff together, and I'm still John Zant. I'm not changed. There is an ego thing involved when you're a newspaper reporter that I think I've gotten over. I've gotten over it over the years. I used to think like, well, your name's in the paper every day, and that used to seem like such a big deal. But I'm more, over the years I've become humbled by some of the great people I've known that I've written about and everything. And I'm just reporting the news. I'm very not used to being interviewed. Being on this side of the camera and the guy with the notebook, and I don't have that ego involvement anymore in it, and so I'm still. I've learned that I'm not. Just because I lost my job as news press reporter doesn't mean I've that doesn't mean I've lost a leg or an arm or anything. I'm still intact as a human being, and I still, you know, have a lot to do in life. So whatever, I'll move on.
Tell me about writing sports. What do people? How is sports any different, or is it different from writing other things?
It's, you know, it probably shouldn't be. We're all journalists, you know. The first thing is the facts and the truth, but sports writing can be a little more creative because, you know, it is a form of entertainment, and you want to have, you know, stories that reflect what the reason people go to sports is for the joy of it and the action and the lively aspects, and, you know, you want your writing to be lively and have a nice rhythm and, you know, make people, you know, get a taste of the excitement of the game. But of course I'm old school in terms of I love covering games, and I still think the game story is the thing, but nowadays sports reporting has gone more into the talk radio shouting, you know, and you know, mainly talking about professional sports, you know, and gossip and, you know, firings and trades, but that's not the world of Santa Barbara sports. It's still rooted in UCSB, Westmont City College, and all the high schools, and, you know, that's what I've spent most of my time here covering. So generally it's a positive thing. You know, we haven't had a lot of, you know, scandals in the sports world in Santa Barbara. So it maybe not be as hard-edged as a lot of reporting, you know, on politics and crime and, you know, everything else that goes into a newspaper.
Tell me, who are some of the teams or individuals that are happening these days in local sports?
Well, my special beat for the last 10 years has been covering UCSB women's basketball team, and that's another unique thing about Santa Barbara. UCSB women's team has a lot bigger following in Santa Barbara than SC or UCLA's teams do in Los Angeles, in a much bigger populated area, because it's family-friendly game, and there's a certain purity to women's basketball. They aren't, you know, going to be NBA stars, and they aren't, you know, in it for the money. Most of them are, just about all of them, get their degrees and move on with their life. It's, you know, pure college sports where student athlete is not an oxymoron. So that's been one of the happening teams in Santa Barbara. But high school sports in Santa Barbara has always been a big part of the community. And when I started working here was just when Dos Pueblos High got started. In fact, that was my very first job, was covering Dos Pueblos sports. And San Marcos was 10 years, and Santa Barbara High's been here forever. And there's Bishop Diego and Carpinteria, and the community's very involved. It's their children, and there's a certain excitement of high school sports, the Hoosiers thing, like Indiana high school basketball. You go and watch Santa Barbara and San Marcos play, and you get the same feeling. The gym is packed, and it's just, it's exciting. It's what, people have done here.